Hey everybody, so we are continuing our Enneagram journey, and today it's all about the 5 or the Investigator. So before we dig into that, let's dig into our video.
Shield. How'd they find me?
We never lost you, Doctor. We've kept our distance. Even helped keep some other interested parties off your scent.
Why?
Nick Fury seems to trust you. But now we need you to come in.
What if I say no?
I'll persuade you.
And what if the other guy says no?
It's good to meet you, Dr. Banner. Your work on anti-electron collisions is unparalleled, and I'm a huge fan of the way you lose control and turn into an enormous green rage monster.
Thanks.
Dr. Banner is on.
Listen, my people are in great danger. And you and I, we have to fight this really powerful being who also happens to be my sister.
Okay, that is so wrong on so many. I don't want to fight your sister. That's a family issue.
She's an evil being.
I don't care what she is. I'm not fighting any more beings. I'm sick of it. I just told you, if I turn into the Hulk, I am never going to come back again.
No.
And you don't care.
I know, no. I'm putting together the team. The Hulk is the fire.
Wait, you're just using me to get to the Hulk.
The job's finished. Now I need you to turn this bird around, okay? We can't track you in stealth mode. So help me out. I need you.
So the Enneagram Type 5, also known as the Investigator or the Observer, is generally described as being smart, perceptive, guarded, kind of secretive, innovative, and isolated. How can you pull out some of those descriptors from the clips that we saw?
Yeah, right out of the gates. I mean, I think I saw that guarded nature. He was just kind of standing there, and then the secretive part of him wanting to kind of be hidden, saying, how did you find me? You know, so that stuck out right out of the gates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there was this curiosity. I mean,
Yeah.
He responded to all Black Widow's, dialogue with a question.
Yeah.
And then it takes us into the next scene with Iron Man, and Iron Man kind of gives this backhanded compliment. On the front end, it's like, hey, you're really smart, which the 5, I'm sure, loves to hear. And then when you turn into that big, green monster guy, too, and you see him get awkward.
Yeah.
Like in that social situation, he doesn't know what to do. He's like, thank you.
And that is, I'll speak as a 5. That's a real experience. That experience of awkwardness in crowd. Nobody else may even feel it, but that internal stuff that's going on in the 5 doesn't know how to so thank you, and what do I do with my body, my hands, that's like all going on inside the mind of the 5.
And I guess that would be one of the reasons that you would sometimes want, as a 5, in those moments, to retreat, as you saw in the last scene, as he is heading off, going AWOL, running away from the team.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. That's one of the reasons. And then you see it come out in that scene where he's talking with Thor, or more Thor's talking at him and trying to get him to participate in this battle. And what you see is Banner, who is Hulk, struggling with, am I going to engage or not? Am I going to participate or not? And he's afraid to participate. He's afraid he doesn't necessarily have what it takes to participate. So he's got this internal, okay, am I going to engage? Am I going to run away? And that's that internal constant question for the 5.
Which makes sense because the motivation is around being competent and capable and acquiring this knowledge and understanding. So if you're not sure that you have it to enter in with excellence, then you'd rather be stealth, like they said in that clip.
That's right. And as Banner's wondering, I don't know if I can come back from being Hulk. Like, I don't know if I know how to do this. I don't know if I can engage, participate fully, give what I have to give, and get back from it. Like, he doesn't have the full picture of the whole thing, and so it's like, I think I'm just not going to do that.
Yeah, and I guess those motivations of wanting to be capable and competent kind of really lead right into the core fears that 5s often have, that they would never want to be useless or perceived as useless, or feeling helpless, or being, incapable in any situation.
Absolutely. And so it leads to all sorts of then habits and behaviors, as you can imagine. I mean, maybe primarily the the 5, as the investigator, is also known as the observer, and so it can lead to this posture to life of observation only. I'm going to take in knowledge. I want to, before I do anything, I want to be absolutely sure that I have all my ducks in a row. And so the reality is you can never reach the end of knowledge. And so it can be paralyzing if the 5 is in a really unhealthy place. And so they can just remain on the outside instead of participating in life.
Yeah, there's no application, and then there's this withholding of time and space and affection rather than participating because they don't feel like they have the resources to give, they retreat.
Yeah, and I would think that could be really tough on the people that love and care for them most, that really want to be there for them, to kind of feel pushed away as, the 5 tries so hard to hold on to time and, designate it for what it needs to be used for,
Absolutely, because 5 doesn't necessarily consciously do it, but there is a calculating of energy and effort that goes into every part of life. And so there's this underlying calculation going on. Okay, do I have the energy to give what is needed in this situation, to give in this situation, to give in that situation? And that's what leads to that withholding, is that preservation. The equation's not working out. I don't have what it takes to give here. I just won't engage there.
Yeah, and there's a disconnect between the head and the heart. Because the 5's really thoughtful and they're considering capacity, in terms of whether they're going to commit, but they leave the heart and the feelings out of the equation.
Whereas some of the other types might say, I feel about this situation. A 5 is almost going to always say, I think, and not I feel.
Yeah, and as, the 5 gets drained from some of these situations that maybe are a little less than comfortable, it seems like frequently the I think is exactly where they go back to. They go back to that place of, to where they can go back to seeking knowledge and being in that spot.
And then it's isolating from everybody else. There's walls that go up because that's the defense mechanism. If I can just get more knowledge, it also makes it so that a 5, at times in an unhealthy place, can live as though I don't need anybody else. I'm going to do it all on my own because I know, and 5s often know how to do a whole lot of stuff or will figure it out. And so it's part of this overall self-preservation and protection of I can help me, and really everybody else should be able to help themselves. And that can be incredibly isolating and lead to judgmentalism about other people.
That headspace of just being independent.
Yeah. Well, and that kind of takes us to some of the core sins, or the main core sin for a 5, and that is avarice or greed. But not necessarily greed as we think of it, in a money way or financially, but really just withholding more of themselves and time and their energy, because just as you said, Robbie, you know that you're going to need it for other things. So
yeah, and they protect their privacy. The excessive desire to have the knowledge and the information and the ideas, that's the quest. So sometimes it's task oriented at the expense of people and relationships, and not wanting to push yourself to be uncomfortable to do relationship in community.
Knowledge feels safe for the 5, and then engagement with the world and others feels unsafe, or at least calls out to the 5 and says, put yourself in a potentially vulnerable situation where you don't have all the answers, where you may not have all the resources that you feel like you need. That can collapse in on a 5 to the place where it's not just withholding time, it's energy, emotions, personal information, personal stories. It's just a seeking of solitude.
And it seems it's such a sad thing for me to think about, that with all of the brilliance and the amazing knowledge that you obtain and work so hard, sometimes folks don't get to even hear it, because that's another thing that sometimes, 5s want to hold on to it.
Yeah, the 5 is waiting for enough. And the gospel says that in Christ you have more than enough. He has given his whole self to you so that you can be released to go and give all those things as well.
Jesus says, you will know the truth and the truth will set you free. And for the 5, they start to believe there's a principle. There's a piece of knowledge that I'll know where I'll finally feel free. And actually the truth is a person. The truth is Christ, and knowing Christ. That's the truth, knowing him and knowing that that's enough. That relationship provides them the security and safety that allows the 5 to move out into the world, move out of isolation to engagement.
And it's the bridge between the head and the heart. The gospel is the bridge between the head and the heart, and that's the place that you find balance as a 5. And then you can share this knowledge freely with other people. It's like they have
That's
access to you and what you have spent all of that time and attention acquiring, and now, you can share it with them.
That's right.
And then you have the ability to balance the engagement with others and the retreat without maybe not having to work quite as hard.
That's right.
When you're in a good place.
Yeah, the 5 will always need the rhythm of seeking solitude and to reconnect, but it's to reconnect with Jesus and then go back out into the world, and 5s often are those who have acquired deep knowledge in particular areas. And when they start to share it, that's when the world starts to benefit. But they've got to be in that place of safety and security to be able to share it well.
Well, we are going to send you off to do some discussing, and we hope that you have some great conversations around what it means to be a 5.